Hello, 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 hello. Hi, everyone. Oh my gosh, this is so wild. Hello, everyone. Happy holidays, Neopets fans, Neopets gamers. I'm Kevin, and I'm so excited to be your host today for this special holiday edition of the TNT AMA stream. We have a pretty action-packed agenda today, and we have a pretty festive lineup of guests, and it's going to be a Neopets celebration like no other. Before we get started with that, let me introduce myself really quickly. My name is Kevin. I'm a YouTube content creator. My channel is called Kevino Gaming, and I primarily make Neopets content. Sometimes I dabble in other cozy games, but generally just the vibes are going to be chill, relaxed, and good. You may also know me as I Don't Get It on Neopets. I'm primarily on the pet trading boards, bumping boards by myself, waiting for someone to stop by and say hi. So if you ever see them, say hi. I've been playing Neopets for something like 20 years, but time's an illusion, so who really knows? Otherwise, my favorite Neopet is the Grawl. Shout out to the Grawls, Harpies, and Girlies. And I'm a big fan of Royal, Robot, and Darrigan pets, so when the NCUCs roll around, I will be snatching a lot of those up. But yeah, I feel like that's me in a nutshell. I think we're going to kick things off right here. We have the CEO of Neopets with us today, the leader of TNT. Please join me in welcoming TNT Dom.
Hey, hello everyone. Well, thanks for joining us for
Hello.
this special holiday edition, and thanks for hosting, Kevin.
No problem. How are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm always excited to talk more about Neopets, and it's always good to be able to be here with the community.
Yeah, for sure. For the folks that are new here today, do you want to maybe give a little bit of an introduction to yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Dominic. I'm leading the Neopets Renaissance and hoping to revive this IP that every one of us love. So working hard over the holiday season as well, and try to bring more updates to everyone.
Yeah, for sure. Um, so you mentioned the Neopets Renaissance. I do remember when that announcement went out, like I was at work in the office reading that announcement, getting like almost a little emotional because I was like, this is like wild. It's been a few months since then, and I know you've kind of had a little bit of time to settle into the role. How do you feel like you have risen up to the challenge of that, of leading TNT?
I would say it's on one hand, it's a dream come true. Being able to work on such an iconic IP that I grew up with, and being able to hopefully extend this IP into a cross-generation IP that lives on for many more years to come. So on one hand, it's been very exciting. It's a huge learning curve, a lot of tasks, a lot of challenge, a lot of work cut out for us and for the whole team. But it's been very exciting so far. But
Mhm.
on the other hand, a lot of fixes, a lot of the challenges are actually, I would say, even more than what we've originally envisioned. But I'm sure that collectively we can work together to really get over all these hurdles and really bring back all the glory stuff and all the new stuff that we're also planning. So really excited to share more.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, I love that. I can say as like a pretty avid player myself, like a several hours a day kind of player, I've already felt some of the impacts of the things your team has rolled out. What would you say, like to you personally, is like the highlight of you know everything you've rolled out thus far?
I would say the highlight, well, on a personal level, we recently have a campaign in Hong Kong. It's like a shopping mall campaign where we display Neopets installations as the Christmas campaign for a very prominent shopping mall.
Mhm.
And seeing a lot of active fans, even on this side of the world. And we actually have fans like writing us like letters, like handwritten letters, like thanking us, and kind of just came to like Hong Kong from Macau and from Taiwan to talk to us. It's been like probably the latest highlight of my job so far.
I love that. I love that. Sometimes I forget like how big of a global influence Neopets has had, through the entire time that it's been kind of on the internet.
Yeah,
So
definitely
do
exciting.
you do you feel like anything interesting is on the horizon so far right now?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of exciting things going on. I mean, the Advent calendar has been a very well. One of the top questions will be related to Advent calendar. But I think so far it's a very exciting time to be back in Neopets.
Mhm,
The
mhm.
community is very vibrant. We have a lot of new things that we're starting to roll out, and then TNT Aesop will be here later to talk about some of the sneak peeks of the new plus that's coming up. We're celebrating our 25th anniversary for the whole year next year, counting down towards it.
Mhm.
New merchandise, and also like new game experiences that we'll be introducing. So
Mhm.
yeah, a lot of exciting things going on, and just like so many cool things that we will be celebrating.
Mhm. Yeah, I love that. I've definitely been participating in the advent calendar myself. Been a huge fan of a lot of the prizes. No P for me yet, but we're keeping everything crossed. Um, but yeah, I feel like you
What's your
guys have.
favorite part so far for the Evan calendar?
Yeah, there's a lot of highlights. The Snowickle, one of my favorite pet pets of all time. So I was super excited that came out. I'll probably be hoarding like every single pet color version of that. Another one that's like a big highlight for me is the new P3 that recently came out, the Pebble. Rocks are also awesome pets, iconic for sure. My friend Colleen talked me into using one for one of the pets that I always customize, and I like to change up the customization every season, and I feel like the rock in particular, so versatile in terms of the thematics that you can get when you paint the pet. So having a perfectly matching P3 is really awesome.
Awesome, cool. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, great job.
So yeah, how long have you been a content creator?
So I feel like I've been creating content for a while. I would say like I really got my start back on Tumblr in like the mid 2010s, so like 2015ish. I made like humor blog stuff, and then from there, I've kind of dabbled in a lot of different platforms across Instagram, Twitch, and now YouTube. I started making Neopets content on YouTube maybe like a little over a year ago at this point, and it's just kind of taken off since then. I just really enjoy sharing this like very niche interest that I have, and letting people know that like, hey, you may remember this game from 15 years ago that you used to play, and you may have this like memory of it, but in reality, there's so much more underneath all of the things that you can be, spending your time on here. There's such a nuance to every single activity, and there's a lot of competitiveness and a lot of like achievements that you can really work towards by kind of investing yourself into the game.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Um,
hosting us today.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I'm super excited to be here. It was like a really big honor to be asked, and yeah, I'm excited. So I feel like, are you ready to get grilled? Are you ready for the Q&A portion here?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just to emphasize that we've been listening to community, and one of the feedback about these AMA sessions is that, oh, like there should be ways for our community members to vote for the questions and having a live poll. So yeah, so well, we're always introducing new features even for our AMAs and try to improve on a lot of our policies. So we're definitely your feedback will be heard. A lot of things we're working on. So sometimes even when we don't have updates yet, stay tuned and we'll be coming.
Awesome. All right, so I feel like we're gonna start off with one that a lot of people are curious about. Um, Recently, there was a lot of controversy surrounding the release of the seasonal attack P (SAP) in day one of Advent Calendar. Could you provide some more context around that, around P-Gate, P-Mageddon?
Yeah, well, what a surprise that this is the number one question. Well, first of all, I mean, I truly understand and emphasize with like probably all the frustration that has arisen from this seasonal attack P and also kind of like the advent calendar in general. It's important to remember that like it's very kind of like common to have differences and agreements among the community members and even among our own teams, and this is not like something that's unique to Neopets. It's actually very common among like gaming companies that like just community members have like different play styles and there's a lot of differences. But because like we all love Neopets so much and there's so much immense passion, I believe that's why a lot of these differences are like kind of like amplified, especially across social media. But I think what matters most is that we actually need to like come together, share our perspectives, and really support each other in the collective growth on this Neopets Renaissance journey. I would like to remind our community members we try to be kind of like even when we express our own perspectives, we should do it in a more civil manner. There has been a lot of like hate speech or like personal harassment across the community, and that's something that's very saddening to see when we're all working really hard to revive the Neopets IP. But I could delve into a little bit, kind of like a lot of rumors and speculations has been going on as
Mhm.
well. So SAP was added to a price pool originally with a very low random drop chance. The main decision behind that is that we want to add a very coveted item that has been requested for by users for many, many years, especially around the holiday season to celebrate the festive holidays. And we also want to make it accessible for users to get one of these items, and which is normally very unobtainable for majority of the users.
Mhm.
And and once we kind of like when we first released it, and after the reviewing the drop rate of this item, on day one of the Advent Calendar campaign, there's like just a lot of concerns that like how we released it, and then the drop rate might have been like too high, and then like
Mhm.
we're closely monitoring kind of like the users' feedback, community's feedback, and kind of like the price changes that we're seeing. So I mean, there are like, like there are concerns that like, oh, if we have too many of SAP released too quickly, then it would probably affect the Battle Dome, the diversity of the weapon builds, and the upcoming plot. But keep in mind that like we released this item not just to celebrate, but it's also to have like a deflationary mechanism that we're also trying out. So the drop rate is one of the levers that we are pulling. But like what other items we can also drop, and of course in the long run, there are better ways to balance the game so that there are new Battle Dome items that could like balance the power. So I mean, some of these things are happening in the background, and when we release the SAP, maybe the community members don't fully understand what will be coming next, and that's kind of lead to the surge of the debate among the community. But it's also
Mhm.
happy to I'm also very happy to see that the community is very engaged. I
Mhm.
mean, a lot of discussions happening around this kind of like controversial release of this item,
Mhm.
and then many users, of course, very happy to see that it's in the price pool. And then we did end up changing the drop rate to kind of like after all these consideration to have a better balance of kind of these items and in the game. And then we also received feedback that maybe the best way to release a lot of these items back into the economy, it could be done differently. I think there's another questions on that. Another question that's being voted is about that too.
Mhm.
But yeah, after taking all these information, we decided to lower the drop rate, and but we didn't take it out of the price pool because we do believe in our kind of like products team's decision in re-releasing this.
Mhm.
And I know that's like whatever we do, it won't be ideal for everyone, but it's I definitely encourage all community members to continue to give us feedback. You can give us like advice and suggestions on how we can do better, better communication or ways of releasing the items. But keep in mind, try to do it in a civil manner. It's a lot of pressure for the team. It's a lot of pressure for our community ambassadors. There's a lot of pressure for our community moderators sometimes. It's always exciting to see that our users are so passionate about Neopets, and every decision we made, we receive a lot of feedback, which is also great. It's a great problem to have. It's not the easiest one to solve, but yeah, and for us, I think this is like a huge learning experience for the team, for myself. It's hard for us to anticipate all possible outcomes on how kind of like a campaign is done, especially when we're trying to do new things. We're trying to kind of like improve our game balances. We're trying to fight against bots. We're trying to kind of like improve the playability of returning users while balancing kind of like the long-term loyal users who've been the most engaged inside the game. So there's just a lot of things that we're trying to balance out, and it's sometimes really hard for us to make like kind of like make everyone happy per se.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
I believe it's from this controversial debate for in the community for the past 2 weeks. We're seeing a lot of hope that this Neopets Renaissance will come true, and we'll all be enjoying Neopets in more than one way, and also hopefully we can keep this around for maybe at least another 25 years.
Yeah, I love that. I think that makes complete sense, and I definitely like understand that there's going to be growing pains. There's like like I feel like a lot of the decisions being made are really trying to kind of like revolutionize the site, and I'm just hoping that these experiences can definitely be used to iterate upon each other and just be learning opportunities. So I think that's definitely a great perspective. And the debates have been very interesting as well. I've been reading along. So we've got the next question here. All right. So recently, TNT Willow and Tally were let go. What happened?
Yeah, yeah, I'm not sure how much detail I can delve into it. I mean, there's just like out of respect for personal privacy and also kind of like the HR policies, there's a lot of things that we couldn't discuss in public. But I would like to say, I mean, I take full responsibility for kind of we haven't been able to grow the company even more faster and generate more revenue so that we can keep every team member and continue to grow the company. But I do say that although we have achieved like a great momentum in the past few months, but it's sometimes we just have to make like hard decisions like these. If I could, I would love to keep every TNT member while we continue to grow. But these decisions are never made hastily. And to be honest, there's never a good timing to doing something like this. But I do see there's also another question about like rumors that we're cutting out our US team and only based in Hong Kong and expanding globally. I do also want to address that rumor as well. Is that I mean, since we took over, we've grown the team size on TNT for more than doubled, and US and Canada still represent like more than 60% of our team. We have been hiring a lot globally actually, but mainly focusing on areas where Neopets used to have a big presence. So outside of US and Canada, our top 5 countries are kind of outside of North America is UK, Hong Kong, Singapore, Australia, actually. And these are the places and cities where we have recruited new team members. And we have a very globally distributed team. Although I'm personally based in Hong Kong, and the only office that we actually have now is in Hong Kong, and everyone else actually work 100% remotely. So that's like a great model for us to be able to recruit the talent globally and find the right talent to work with us to join us on this Neopets Renaissance journey. So we are also hiring. We're still expanding, and feel free to check out our social media posts, our LinkedIn for job openings, and we probably don't have much of a geographical like location like bias. We want to build a global company. We want Neopets to be on the global stage and expand from just the current user base. But of course, we want to stay true and loyal to our most engaged user base in North America, and that's why the majority of the team members are still there, and most of our activities and campaigns are still going to be in North America. But keep in mind, we are trying to do a lot more, and a lot more will be happening in the coming year.
Yeah, gotcha. Um, I know that's like always like a bit of a challenging topic to kind of like delve into. So I definitely appreciate that kind of visibility. So next question we have up here is, how do you plan to reintroduce valuable items into the economy?
Yeah, so that's a great question. We've heard a lot of feedback, and potentially one of the suggestions that we are considering is like, oh, maybe we can release items through the hidden tower and have more like Neopoint sync related to that. I think it's a great idea that we can consider, and like there's probably a lot more that we can potentially do. But understand that like one of the main challenges that we're facing when we're releasing items is we know that we have a botting problem on the site, but what we're trying to do is that we're designing mechanism that we can well like make it much harder to bot, and that's when we can do more re-release of items through different game mechanisms. So there's like a lot of balancing that we need to do and a lot of things happening in the back end, and sometimes these fixes are not as easy as we thought it will be, and that's why some of the items are not re-released yet. We're
Mhm.
getting a lot of feedback. We heard them all, and a lot of them are actionable, but just not at this point in time. But we do have a lot of have like on our kind of like wish list items to, like, on a to-do list. They're just like a lot of items are mostly related to the how we can fight inflation and how we can release items, and we can make certain items more obtainable for our users. But of
Mhm.
course, balancing that out in the long run is more about how we can do better game balancing and also introducing new items, as I previously mentioned, especially for the Battle Dome elements that will become more prominent as the new plot is revealed. So yeah, so a lot of things will be happening, but of course, feel free to give us more suggestions. There's the reason why we have a community ambassador program. Feel free to give them they always collect feedbacks from the community, and if they're like great advices and if they're great like suggestions, we'll always take it into consideration. We'll debate internally. We might have our differences, but even it's good to have a civil conversation and make sure that we're all working towards building a much more sustainable gameplay for Neopets.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like I'm personally very interested in like game economies and game balance, and I think that's also part of what makes Neopets such a like deeply faceted and interesting game. So I do think it's like something that has been a long-standing problem. So it's not going to be solved in a few months. So it's just definitely don't think it's an easy problem. So good luck to y'all. The next question we have listed here is, can we please, all caps, have the ability to link our side accounts to our main and transfer NC items within our accounts without using boxes?
Yeah, I think this is actually a very unique problem to Neopets to have such a have like outdated login system and outdated system among kind of like the user accounts, and even having like five side accounts and one main account, and for returning users it's been very troubling. It's like, oh, what can I do in my main account? Oh, what can I do in the side accounts? So how do I not get frozen? So a lot of things we know, we understand the frustration. So we are actually gonna launch a new kind of like login infrastructure, as we've been working on it for the past, is actually our top priority since the new leadership team took over. We've been working on it like tirelessly for the past like, I don't know, 4 or 5 months. We are targeting to launch something. Well, I'm not sure if we announced it before. Tentatively, we're going to call it the Neo Pass. It will be a new login system that we're using, and hopefully that can solve a lot of these issues related to linking side accounts to main accounts, and the potential security issues, and also our users worrying about like losing their accounts or getting frozen and on all those stuff.
Mhm.
So we're estimating to launch in towards like the later of first quarter next year. First quarter meaning it's January, February, and March. So towards the end of first quarter, possibly closer to March then. So yeah, so there will be. We're very excited to launch more. We'll share more details once we're ready. Especially knowing that our community will probably tear us apart and give us a lot of comments. So we definitely will try to share more. While we want to be transparent and share more upfront, we also don't want to have kind of like too much like commitment to things that we ultimately will change or update after reviewing kind of like the technicalities of stuff. So yeah, I'm very excited about this NeoPass. It's going to be a very interesting way for us to tie Neopets experiences together.
Mhm.
On a high level, will be a better way to transfer like items between accounts. But like specifically whether we launch immediately with everything being transferable or things like that, I'll probably update the community once we are closer to the launch, and we'll have more detailed explanations on how we use this new login system, how does it tie across the Neopets games. So it'll be an exciting feature.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm super excited to see that rollout, and yeah, looking forward to getting more details around that. So I think we have time for maybe one more question, and hope you're ready for this one. What is your stance on the user NeoTruths leaking your code and details from your database on Reddit? I thought
Well,
security was a priority.
no, I mean security is definitely our one of our top priorities, and we're also working very hard on it. And I mean personally, I see NeoTruth as like a white hat hacker. So actually, he like well, this person has been giving us a lot of a lot of I guess suggestions and kind of ways to improve. And we have in the past actually based on these intel, have helped us to identify potential security risk. So I would say it's good that we in the community there are such passionate members to act as a white hat hacker. Although I mean I don't agree with everything. Sometimes he or she or this person releases, and then sometimes it does make our job much harder. Especially on one hand, we want to be transparent with our community members, but sometimes the leaks are maybe too transparent and made it hard for us to kind of like understand. But do know that I mean sometimes like the leaks, sometimes it might be true, sometimes there might be some misinformation in there as well.
Mhm.
So and then as a company we need to kind of like sift through the details. We don't want to, like, to be honest, I mean even though we see this person as a white hat hacker, we actually don't want to let this person know what we know and what we don't know. And so it's hard. Yeah. So like sometimes when we look at the leaks, we
Mhm.
it give us hints, and then all in all, I think it's great that we have community members like that. And to be honest, it acts as a check and balances for the team. Sometimes we're working on it. I mean, we are working on a 25-year-old code base,
Mhm.
and then the team is still very lean. We've been expanding the team and working on a lot of these like top priorities items. But whether we actually have like a stronghold of everything, like this person has, maybe not. Maybe we don't really understand some of the parts, but it's great that we have some external, let's say, kind of like advisors to help us as a kind of like sort of check and balances, especially relating to kind of like new features and new campaigns that we're launching. And some of those, like getting some check and balances, is also great, and for it's actually great personal growth for our team as well to know how we can improve.
All right, all right. We're gonna call them a consultant. Consultant. Um, so I think we actually have time for a couple more. The next one we have is, how are ambassadors being held accountable while in their positions to avoid potential abuse?
Yeah, so we kind of talked about this briefly before. So ambassadors mainly provide us with like two types of feedback. So on one hand, they can gather like general feedback from the community, kind of like help us to monitor the overall sentiment, both negative and positive sentiments. And on top of that, we have our sentiment analysis, kind of like like tools that we're using as well. And the other part is actually the expert opinions that is based on the extensive knowledge of a certain category. So one does not outweigh each other, and they're both equally important to us to consider. So that's kind of how, like, when we first recruit community ambassadors, that's kind of the standard we're looking at. Is like, oh, can this particular ambassador represent one part of the game that we need more, that we love to have more expert opinions on? And
Mhm.
so that's kind of like how we've been kind of like held ambassadors kind of like accountable. So far, we've been having monthly meetings with these ambassadors, and then we they our ambassadors are assigned kind of like some task within the expert area that they represent, and then
Mhm.
they will give us an update, actually like a very full-blown presentation. I've sat in personally in two of these meetings, and then it's actually a lot of thoughts behind it, and I want to like kudos to the community ambassadors. It's a lot of responsibility, and it's also, I know a lot of them are also receiving a lot of heat from the community, but I would say, I mean, all of them are doing this on a on a volunteering basis. I mean, there's no financial reward. There's only recognition. There's only kind of like potentially some like in-game avatar, like a recognition type of thing. But
Mhm.
there's no financial recognition. And with such passionate community ambassadors joining us and giving us these expert opinions, and then we balance that out with like what we've been like monitoring from the community, and
Mhm.
also our own team's kind of opinions. We always balance that out. So yeah, so that's kind of how the community ambassador program works. So I think the
Mhm.
question is like how they're being held accountable. So I
Mhm.
think it's like a two-way traffic. The term is for 1 year. But it's like everyone's doing this for a voluntary basis. So I mean, if ambassadors decide to leave the program, it's kind of like, of course, that's possible. We're
Mhm.
also trying to see if we can. We are planning to expand the community ambassador program, and some of the other key categories that we're probably looking for is maybe like around pet trading. So there's a lot of delicacy in uh, in Neopets and how a lot of things works, and so yeah, it's always great to have these opinions.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think just like polling from the community is like such a useful way to be able to kind of like make sure that you have a pulse on everything. So yeah, hopefully everything continues to iterate and do well. So we have another question right here. Ooh, recently, a project creating a Neopets inspired plushies was shut down. Are Neopets going after the sales of unlicensed merchandise?
Yeah, so I think I can give shed more lights on that on how these things operate because like on one hand, as a company, we need to protect our licensees who have exclusive rights to produce Neopets merch, and this is an area that we're trying to build and having more merchandise and we're trying to sign up a lot more licensees. A lot of these products takes a long time to develop uh, and 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 we need to protect kind of like the IP in general. So based on I believe that this project was shut down by our licensing agency, and then have like I saw there's a lot of discussions in the community. I know the community love to have more plushies, and we haven't launched plushies in a very long time. But keep in mind, I mentioned that like these programs takes a long time uh, to to take place. So from signing up a licensee and identifying a manufacturer, but actually having the product in shelves where people can buy, it normally takes at least like 6 to 9 months for the whole program. So the new team took over in July. So I would say stay put. We are launching a lot of new products in the coming year to celebrate
Mhm.
our 25th anniversary. And I'm not sure if I should be sharing this, but for example, I just received like a latest sample of a plushie that we're doing. It's actually hard to see. So yeah, so we are working very hard, and there's a lot of back and forth that we're doing to improve the quality, and we want to make sure whatever product we release, it will be like of high standard, even higher standard than any products we might have launched like I don't know 5, 6, 10 years ago. So
Mhm.
we want to do better, and we want to make sure that we have a very robust program, kind of when it comes to Neopets related merchandise. And one thing I do want to address is the rumors around our fan art program. So the fan art program is actually also part of the way that we want to support the artist community within Neopets. And like we will be launching this program in January, slight delay from our original launch date, which there's so much feedback that we want to execute it properly. And please note that we as a company, we do not take any profit from this fan art program. So it's definitely not true that we're trying to take advantage of artists for minimal play. We actually want to create an ecosystem where we can support our artist community
Mhm.
so that they can create digital artwork and sell to other community members, and we don't make a profit. And people might, there's some chatters about like, oh, like certain artists can sell through this fan art program, but the plush program was shut down. I think the main reason is that like creating digital artwork and selling to kind of like other community members and players, that's not something that we will license out or do ourselves. So it's good that we can support the community that way. And what we believe in is that with this fan art program, the ecosystem would be more robust for potential artists to contribute their love of Neopets to other community members while making a profit. and and for any licensing program that we end up doing ourselves on a much larger scale, I mean, most of the time our licensees would actually hire from our community, either as a freelancer or for part of their project. So for example, like the upper deck trading cards that we're launching next year that we're super excited about, it's been in development for over 2 years, and a
Mhm.
lot of the artists that worked on the trading cards are actually recruited by upper deck from our community. So I think with
Oh.
this Neopets fan art program, it will make it even easier for our future licensees to identify kind of like contributors of Neopets art within our ecosystem. And
Mhm.
ultimately, as the Neopets IP and the brand and the company grows, I believe there will be more opportunities for our licensees to work directly with our community members and our artists. And I think that's kind of how we're planning this whole Neopets art program and kind of supporting our artists and making sure that everyone actually grows in this ecosystem.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's awesome. And I think it's a great way to like kind of bridge some of the gaps that may have existed there. So definitely looking forward to all of that continuously rolling out. So Dom, I think that is the last question we had for
In case you didn't
you.
see it, there's a Aisha. So there's a 25th anniversary design, kind of like the design that we released on our website. This is not a finished product, so if you see any imperfection, don't have to be upset. We're still perfecting it. This is the 10th iteration we received from our manufacturers. So we've been working hard on all fronts.
Yeah, I love it. Dom, I will send you my address. Feel free to send it my way too. And honestly, yeah,
You'll
honestly,
definitely
thank
get
you
one.
so
Don't
much for
worry.
the thanks so much for like answering these questions. I know some of them were tough ones, so we all really appreciate the transparency you've kind of provided here for sure. Um, so I think we're ready to kind of move along with the holiday stream here. Keep the festive vibes going. Are you ready? This is like a Neopets legend, I feel, an icon, if you will. We have TNT Aesop here with us today, the narrative and creative director. Hello, hello. How
Thanks
are
so much for having
you?
me. I am incredibly nervous, but still really excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm nervous too, but we are doing it. Thank you so much for joining us. Maybe you could start us off by like telling us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Yeah. So I've been working at Neopets for about 4 years now. Some of you who are active in the creative contest might remember that I started as a content intern back in the day, helping out TNT Jade, working on things like the Neopian Times and a bunch of different creative contests. As you can tell from my little header down here, I still have a very soft spot for the Neopian Times when it comes to weeboos and everything of the like. And yeah, during my time here, I've had the chance to work with some amazing TNTers. Some of those years were a little rocky, to be sure, but we all really love the brand. And even though the team has changed a lot, the core group that is here is really passionate. And I think that passion is what helped me get to where I am today, which is the narrative and creative director. And that means I kind of oversee everything when it comes to narratives around Neopia. That could be, all the event storylines, character creation, and the comics you've seen over the past years and things like the Advent calendar, but also little bits of copy from pop-ups to full-blown April Fool's pranks too. I also helped supervise the Fairy's Hope narrative, which was actually written by the talented TNT Stone. I want to give them a bit of a shout out too, because they've also been helping to manage some of the recent narrative events. The Advent calendar is something they've been handling and they've been doing an incredible job. So definitely want to give them a round of applause there. And yeah, I also have been helping out with some other things around the site when it comes to narrative. The biggest one right now is the plot. We have a plot coming down the pipeline we're all very excited about. We actually started working on this plot a couple years back when Gutterfoot was still here, and we were working on it together with her too. So really excited to show what we can of that and tease a little bit here and there. And then lastly, the last things I do here is help out with some projects that our incredible licensees are working on. So everything that Andrews McMeal is doing, from the cookbook to the graphic novels, and then Upper Deck with the trading cards. I'm always happy to help out with those exciting projects we have in the works. We have some more I can't talk about quite yet, but I'm really excited for you to learn all about them too. And I do help supervise some of the creative contests that TNT Adler still runs.
Nice, I love that. I feel like you just have like such a like wide span of input into like just what Neopets is today, and like so many of the things you listed off are things that I remember from like even my childhood, and like the April Fool's tricks and like everything that's going on in the game is so like critical. I feel like your role has been so critical in developing a game that like everyone is like that is memorable and nostalgic for everyone.
I really appreciate you saying that. And I honestly can't take all the credit at all because it's really a team effort. I mean, I am helping lead the narrative team, but like I'm not the one telling these stories. With any good writer's room, it has a diverse amount of people in there bringing in different ideas and helping to contribute and make it as good as can be. So I think it's definitely something I can't take credit for. We've built a really incredible team here.
For sure. So I know that it is the holiday season in Neopets. Could you maybe tell us a little bit more about the Advent calendar, Stocking Stufftacular?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have managed the advent calendar for most years in the past, but like I mentioned, this is one where TNT Stone stepped up to the plate. So again, want to give them a big round of applause there. And specifically, they've done an incredible job with not only the comics and the prizes, but really like bringing in some diverse families and really like showing some more representation in Neopets, and also just some really wholesome, heart tugging stories. So really, really well done there. It's been one of my favorite ones so far, and I've written on other ones, so I have to admit that like this one is still incredible, even though I wasn't writing all the comics here. I will say we have some other really cool comics coming for the end of the advent calendar. I'm really excited for everyone to stay tuned for everything else we have. Some really cool prizes as well. And then for the stocking stufftacular, all the credit there goes to TNT Miss Rainbow. Miss Rainbow is the one responsible for all of the wonderful NC events, not only just stocking stufftacular, but all of the items you see coming out. TNT Rainbow usually had a hand in those. So big props there to Miss Rainbow as well.
Yeah, love it. So I think another thing that like often comes to mind when I think about stocking stufftacular is like, for me personally, I remember when I was like back in like high school and like trying to like have the money to buy NC. It was just like such a quintessential part of like the holiday vibes and just being able to just log on and be like, all right, what is my NC item for today? From your perspective, what do you think like is what makes it so memorable? Like the iconic parts of it.
That's a good question. I do think it kind of captures that Christmas magic of coming down and being like, what's going to be in the present today kind of thing. Like you're unwrapping it, but you're unwrapping a new one each day sort of thing. You have something to look forward to, something to be excited about. So I think there's something about capturing that Christmas magic, getting excited about what's to come, and not really knowing until you log on that day and see what is really the surprise for you.
So yeah, one question from my end. So we've been hyping up this new plot for quite a while. Do you mind giving us a little bit more sneak peek in what narratives or stories that we can expect?
Yeah, I unfortunately can't get into too much detail. There's a lot I do want to talk about, but I can't share. I will be able to share a couple small details. I will say it's going to be an interesting color or an interesting plot when it comes to color. That's one thing I want to hint at about right now. I also am going to mention that the plot itself will take us to at least one place we haven't been before, which will be interesting. And I'm also going to mention, as a lot of Neopians have already picked up, there have been some hints to the upcoming plot in previous events, most notably the epilogue comic we saw at the end of the Fairy Festival. So I'd stay tuned for anything coming from events. Might be some more dialogue from Orion to figure out exactly what's going on. And just keep an eye out for everything coming in, because we're really hoping to continue to build up to this plot in completely different ways.
Sounds exciting. So yeah, for people who are tuning in, please note that you probably know as much of the new plot as I do. So when I want to be more transparent, sometimes it's not like I'm holding back. I really don't know, because you can see that Aesop himself is holding back to telling me more.
Yeah, it's a secret for everyone.
Gotta keep them closely guarded. Yup, I'm sorry, but we need to see if some surprises.
Awesome. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, Aesop, thank you so much for what you do for the game and the community. You're literally a legend and a staple for Neopets, and we all really appreciate the great content you've created for us. I know there's tons coming in the future, and I am totally excited for that. But yeah, thank you so much, and I hope you have a lovely holiday.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cool. So, Dom, are you ready to move along with this holiday stream? Are you ready for the next guest? Are you pumped?
Definitely. Definitely. Still recovering from the grilling, but of course I'm ready.
Sorry about that. So the next guest is a personal friend of mine. You may know him as the developer ambassador of Neopets, or even the site runner of Grundos Cafe. Please join me in welcoming Ben. Hello.
Hey Kevin, hey Dom. My cat's been so good for the entire stream
Ben.
when he just jumped in my lap. Picked the perfect time.
I love it.
Hi y'all.
Yeah. How are you doing?
Oh, I mean, Aesop said it well. I'm also terrified, Carmarillers in my stomach, but doing good.
Nice. Yeah, so why don't you get us started with an introduction?
Yeah, so I'm Ben. You may know me as Saint Motel on neopets.com, also the dev ambassador. newly. You may also know me as one of the people who runs Grundos Cafe, which is basically a time capsule of Neopets as it existed in circa 2002. And we've got some pictures. Yeah, we've got some like Battle Dome, top left Neo School. Shout out to Mandy. Oh no, my cats are bad timing, Theo. Advent calendar, Invasion of Meridel, that like classic Pet Central that I'd imagine a lot of us are nostalgic for. Really just like a snapshot of a cozier, simpler time to be on the internet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it. Something I think about very often, and I'm hoping maybe you can share, is like, could you share the story of how like Grundos Cafe came to be and like how it came up?
Yeah, so cut back to like 2020 and like the pandemic since swing and Flash had just died. And I'm working like post-grad job, like hoping to like make a kind of transition into like more dev stuff. And I think like, hey, like passion project, learning to like code some of these like now deceased Flash games and remake them using more like modern HTML5 framework. So I'm like working on that and like simultaneously like meeting some like Neopets friends who have like a guild, shout out Loop. We're at a meetup and we're in Orlando and we're in a swimming pool and we're just like chatting and realize like, wait, we've got like more people who are interested in the dev side and the art side. Like we can like we can do this. So flew home, opened up my laptop, tippy tap, and then not but like 2 months later, we're opening the site up to like 20 people for alpha. And then a year and a half after that, like right now, we've got more people than that just like on the team. So yeah, it's been a really cool progression.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the reason why I ask you to share that is just because like for me at least, it's like such an inspiring thing where like fantastic ideas can just come from like the most random of moments or just like amongst a group of friends. I was not there at that swimming pool, but I like to think I was there in spirit, you know?
You certainly were. Yeah, of course, Kevin has been like totally instrumental, very helpful, bouncing ideas, stuff like that.
Yeah, so like another question I have for you then is like, I think Grundos Cafe has been up for around a year and a half, if my timeline's right. What would you say are like some of the biggest challenges you and your team faced while like going through that?
Yeah, I mean, lots of stuff. And like, depending on who you ask, it's like a lot of things. I mean, like community management, like getting the gist of like what it means to moderate a site and like create a cozy environment.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the thing that's been really tricky for me is game balancing. So like you have this site that a lot of people enjoy. Some are very achievement driven. I think I like relate to that. Some have like 5-10 minutes a day to play their daily game of solitaire and check in on their pets. But like really you want to make a site that is a cozy environment for all of the above and everyone in between, where their goals feel attainable and like the things to do are exciting.
Mm-hmm.
We've had some like big hits, like in just like iterating on stuff, trying things out for size. We've had some big misses as well. One that comes to mind, old Brendas will remember this Squirm Ball. And like it's Neopets hot potato, right? We implemented it. It's like a pretty like simple site feature, but to like sweeten the pot, we add space maps to the prize pool, which are like pretty expensive. And you trade in the full map for transmog potions, paintbrushes, etc. The thing was, we didn't set a cap on how much people could play Gormball in a day. So like 6 hours of Gormball is like the game meta to get rich while you're playing Grundos. So you had to set a cap, but then we set it too low. We got all this feedback, and it was very overwhelming at the time. But I think we learned a lot of lessons about just thoughtful decision making on the way there.
Yeah, for sure. And like, I think like, sometimes being a part of those discussions, like it's really interesting how you want to like, you have to like always consider like multiple different play styles and just kind of accommodate a lot of folks so that everyone is able to have a good player experience. And it's definitely challenging for sure.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
So Ben, Grundos Cafe has a very unique sign-up system, and I think a lot of people want the referral codes. Can you tell us a little bit more? I mean, it's exciting to see that there's a huge like wait list for these referral codes.
Yeah, exciting and heartbreaking. Like when you make a thing, you want to share it like with everyone. We're certainly capped by one, server size. I mean, like paying server costs definitely adds up, and like you don't want the experience to be laggy. And like two, like community, like management is like a big thing, and it just gets exponentially harder. Like the more people you have. With our like entirely part-time staff, like we all have like day jobs, and we just enjoy working on this site and our downtime collectively. It's really like a collective sanity thing. That being said, I mean, like I want nothing more than to like share, like not even just like the site, but like lessons learned from it. I like really hope I can do that as dev ambassador. We got a lot of a lot of Neopets ideas, as do a lot of others on the team too. We'd love to share.
Yeah, I'm sure there are things that we can work out together and make it easier. And I can definitely attest to the community management side of things. It's definitely challenging.
For sure. So I think I got some inklings of, wanting to help Neopets improve. And, maybe you can share some of those thoughts you had, some of those ideas.
Yeah, I mentioned it's like ideas constantly, and like not just me. I don't want to like take credit. Like shout out Rodolfo. I've never seen someone with like more just like idea bouncing than him. I like pitched this like as ambassador. This was like I like made a freaking PowerPoint presentation about it, but I really think neopets.com needs patch notes. Like we have this like dev team that's like small and like they've got just this mountain of stuff to do, but the recognition is like not there. I mean, like shout out to TNT Dingo and whoever else. I want to like see that credit, it works on Grundos. I mean, we've got like it right next to our news features page. About like site features, one in particular that I also feel strongly about is like improving incentive for Flash games. Like Ruffle, that was like a big win this year, but like follow through and like give people a reason to like play these games, like better Neopoint incentives or even better items. Like code stones are so expensive. Let's get some of those in there. But I mean, I could go on, but
We're definitely listening. We're definitely listening. A lot of great feedback and a lot of great advices that we can learn from.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Ben, I think part of providing feedback and helping Neopets improve is also part of it's part of that is grilling Dom too. And I don't know if you noticed, but we have Dom like right here. So why don't you ask a few questions?
Yeah, shoot it
cool.
over.
All right. Yeah, I don't know if I can be as fiery. Well, okay, we'll see. I'd imagine one that's on the minds of a lot of viewers is how Neopets views protecting its IP in the context of its view of sites like Grundos Cafe. Maybe you could speak to that a bit.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the pillar of this whole Neopets Renaissance that we believe in is that we need to build with the community. And my personal view is that this IP belongs to the TNT, the company, as much as this IP belongs to the community. And it's great to see that we have so many fan-run, community-run projects, including like Grundos Cafe and a lot of other fan site. So like the way that we're looking to is work a lot more closely together on official capacity to really have better integration or feedback loop with like community run projects like Grundos Cafe. So yeah, we're putting in the framework to make this process efficient. We've been discussing with your team on how to make this happen, and other programs that we're doing all kind of like point us into this direction where we can build Neopets back to his glory days with our community's help, but also really sharing this love for the IP with the whole community.
Yeah, I mean, I think we certainly try to like do well by the IP. I mean, like the respect it deserves.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, thank you for working on Grundos Cafe. I mean, from our point of view, it's going to be like, it's always great to have a time capsule historical relic of the original look and feel of what Neopets is. And that would always be a very special place for a lot of us.
Yeah. Cool. I'm gonna ask one more question. So it's been breaking my heart to see some people frozen on the neopets.com neoboards for talking about Grundos Cafe. I understand like the filters are a whole can of worms and like COPPA and like all the like legal stuff that goes into that decision making. But I mean, like y'all invited me on here. I assume talking about Grundos Cafe should be okay. Is there anything I can do for these people, or like any way that they can like bump their ticket?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something alarming. I mean, you should definitely let us know. And I don't think they should be frozen. And I think it's part of a major overhaul that we're doing with all the kind of like freezing and freezing policies. We are updating those and also how we monitor our boards. I think it's a bit silly. Some that we can't put links to certain things. It's just like, yeah, like we're in a modern world and some of our rules are probably a bit dated. So yeah, we will be revamping a lot of those. But if you, in the meantime, if you need to offer help to your community members, feel free to shoot it over and let us know, and we'll take a look at it.
Awesome.
Yeah, all right.
And then
That was
you
exciting.
mentioned about certified fan site and things like that. Well, yeah, I just talked to the product team. It's definitely something that we will be doing, and yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh. Not, I mean, not just unrelated. I heard from Dice that he'll go feral if Grundos Cafe becomes a certified fan site before Neo Food Club. Couldn't agree more. So hopefully it's not just us in the talk there. But yeah, it's exciting. Wow.
Awesome.
Cool. Yeah, no, I love hearing all those things. Ben, before I shoo you away, is there any other thing you want to add, or you good? Feeling good?
No, just one thing. I mean, like, look at us. How would we get here? This is crazy.
How did I get here?
Thanks for having me. It was so fun.
Yeah, awesome. Ben, thank you
Well,
so
thanks
much
for
for
joining.
joining us. Yeah, hope you have a lovely holiday and have a great rest of your night.
Yeah, happy holidays.
Yeah, bye.
Happy holidays. Bye.
All right, everyone. I think that's going to be the conclusion of our holiday stream. Thank you so much to all the guests that joined us. Thank you, TNT Dom, for joining us as well and answering all those like difficult questions. I know it wasn't easy. And yeah, just thank you to all the viewers for joining us for this holiday stream. We are going to be putting up that live exclusive code that you have all been waiting for. It's a really cool unreleased festive item. So I think it's only going to be active for something like 48 hours. There's a redemption period over there, if you can tell time over there. And be sure to go to Grundos Warehouse and Virtue Pets. Go type in Holiday Magic and redeem this code and get your item. I'm super excited about it. So as soon as we sign off here, I will be grabbing mine. But yeah, thank you so much. Dom, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, I mean, there will be for 48 hours, so make sure don't try to all jump in now and crash your site again. We have been making improvements, so hopefully it will be better this time. So every time when we give out a code like this, it's a testament to our improvements. Hopefully it's visible, but try to space it out. But yeah, no, thanks for everyone for joining on this holiday session. It's been a great honor to be able to share more updates and answering these questions. And it's always good to have an open dialogue. And looking forward to 2024. It will be a very interesting and exciting year for us. So I hope you all will enjoy it as much as we are.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dom. Thank you all. Thank you so much. This was so fun and definitely an
Happy
honor.
holidays.
Definitely an honor.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.